So I'm back here at Adventureland. I was here in early October. That's when I picked up my pass. I mostly got the pass because, sure, I wanted to come back here, but also the Platinum Pass will be valid at Kennywood, Lake Compounce, Dutch Wonderland, a few others that I'm going to be going to on my trip next month. And of course, this is where I'm going first. I've ridden the Underground one other time in my life. That was on my first visit here in 2019. I just rode it again. And this is a well-themed ride. It's got nice effects, lighting effects, animatronics. It's really well done, especially considering that it's at a strictly amusement park. So this is kind of along the lines of maybe Fire in the Hole, in the similar vein, but you don't have any big drops at the end. And this is a wooden coaster. There's some sections in there where you're just kind of gliding along, coasting at a slow speed. That's what qualifies it as a coaster. But you don't have any moments in there that you're going fast at all. And of course, as I said, no big drops, or no little drops either. But it's a very well themed ride. It's worth checking out. It can get a long line though. It has a very slow throughput. It can fit a lot of people on one train, but it's only going to be one train operations, and it takes a while. 3 rides in on Dragon Slayer, and it is as amazing as it was last year. If you're one that doesn't care much for free spins, I understand where you're coming from, but give this one a try because it is so much better than all the others. And yes, it does flip a lot more, and that might not sound like a good thing, but actually it is. It makes it a more comfortable ride, actually. The thing is that when it's supposed to flip and it doesn't, it actually makes the ride worse. This one flips way more than all the others, and that makes it more comfortable and better. And it is insane. The last 2 rides I got on the second level, I flipped 4 times in a row, and that was on the mild side. And then on the wild side, I flipped actually 5 times in a row. I lost count of how many times I flipped on that ride. It might have been about 8 or 9. And I'm one who, on the Six Flags versions of these, I usually flip once, 0. So if you're one that usually gets a lot of flips on those, you might get about 20 on this. I ended my day with 4 night rides in a row on Outlaw. I did not see that coming. But I had a choice, either 1 more ride on Monster or 4 in a row on Outlaw, because I was able to stay on the train and just keep re-riding. 3 minutes till closing, Monster still has about a 20-minute line. I think they forgot to cut off the line the way they usually did in the past. Maybe they don't do that anymore, I don't know. In the past, they would cut off the line, they would rope it off to try to get the last train to go out right at closing. So you couldn't just jump in line at the last second and get to ride. They may still be doing that. They may have just forgot to put the rope up. But over at Outlaw, the ride-offs just made it so much fun. I was having a great time over there. Those were the best ride-offs of the day for sure. The one gentleman who was running the control board, he was the one who said, you gotta ride Outlaw at night. And you know what, he's right. The light package on Monster is incredible. This is the best ride to look at from off-ride at night. And it is still the best ride, of course, at the park. But as far as the night ride enhancing the ride, Outlaw is where it's at. I ended up riding Outlaw more than any other ride today. 7 laps on it, 5 on Monster, only 4 on Dragon Slayer. Did not see Outlaw being my most ridden coaster of the day. But I do have a few hours to spend here tomorrow before I got to go to the baseball game and get that coaster credit, not to mention the Malibu Jacks that has a coaster now. fun day. It was an interesting day, to say the least. Somehow, even getting here at like 3:30, I still ended up getting 20 coaster rides. The lines never got too long, but they weren't like walk-ons either. Now, Outlaw was there at the end, getting to stay on the train and re-ride. I could have stayed on for another lap or two, but I went ahead and got off. Oh, by the way, if you do get the Platinum Pass through here, the Palace Entertainment Platinum Pass, you do get free drinks. And that also includes the slushies. But that is only going to be valid at this park. It won't be valid at the other Palace Entertainment parks. So I got basically one day to utilize that. But I did still get a night ride on Monster. The other 3 times that I've been here at night, I've mostly just done Monster as my night rides. And also in the fall, I did Dragon Slayer a few times. But Outlaw was not open at that time, not for their Fall Fest. But the other times that I could have done Outlaw, but I was doing Monster instead, yeah, that was a mistake. Outlaw's the one you want to do at night. Although Monster is good to get at least one ride, but I think Outlaw is enhanced the best at night. This was one of those days where I have now been up for 24 hours. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself, but whenever I get to the parks, I'm tired when I get here, but then I get energized as the day goes on. There's just something about the nighttime that wakes me up, that energizes me, especially when I'm at an amusement park. So my advice if you're coming to Adventureland on Saturday is just don't. It is very busy. It gets incredibly crowded at this park on Saturdays. It's actually manageable, but you're not going to get very many rides on Monster. You're not going to get very many rides overall. You'd have much better luck on Friday or Thursday, any other day. I have not been here on a Sunday. I'm not sure how the crowds get there. But I've been here on a few Fridays and a few Saturdays, actually. Saturdays get pretty crazy. Tornado is riding great today and yesterday. I got one ride yesterday, one ride today, and it rode great both times. I rode in row 3 yesterday. And of course that is a wheel seat, so it was a little shakier. Got row 2 today, and that was quite smooth. And the airtime's pretty decent too. Nothing monumental, but at least it's got some. Outlaw is kind of hit or miss whether or not you're gonna get airtime depending on the row. I think the middle of the train actually gave a really good ejector pop, kind of on a mid-ride hill there on Outlaw, that the back row didn't quite give nearly as strong. That ejector hill mid-ride on Outlaw seemed to deliver the best in the middle of the train, which is weird. Tornado absolutely is a front of the train ride. I realized that on my past visits. You ride in the back and it kind of does nothing. Even on the drop you get nothing, and all the other hills you get almost nothing. You want to be towards the front of the train on Tornado. What's weird that I realized this weekend here at Adventureland is that fellow park goers, they just flood the back of the train on Outlaw and Tornado. It's kind of weird. Most parks you go to, people flood the front, but no, the first people that get into the station, they just head right to the back. So if you want a back of the train ride on Outlaw or Tornado, you gotta pretty much be the next ones getting into the station. Look at how they're flipping on that left side there. Wow. I can go back on my video and watch how many times they flipped. They got it going good. Now, I actually had gotten a couple of rides on Dragon Slayer where I got like 1 or 2 flips, which is kind of strange. Normally I get at least 4 or 5. But I also today got one ride where it was like 8 or 9 flips. I rode on the mild side and I got 6, including I think like 4 in a row. Now I waited about 15 minutes to get on Tornado, so that wasn't bad. Monster is posting a 1-hour wait, and I would bet it's longer than that because it's a full queue. And before they introduced the Speedy Pass, The full queue would be about 50 minutes, 55, something like that. I remember getting on in under an hour with the full queue, just barely. However, now that they got Speedy Pass, the busier it gets, the more people will buy it, because you can buy a single shot too. So a lot of people were doing that. They were doing it in line and buying their Speedy Pass, a single shot in line, and then going over to the Speedy Pass lane. So that's gonna turn what would normally be about a 50-minute wait into about an hour and a half. And I heard it sounded like they just broke down too on Monster. Let's see, what do we got? Rocking back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row on the ones closest to us here. There's another 1, 2, 3. If I was going to be here all day, I probably would go ahead and buy the all-day Speedy Pass. But since I'm about to leave to head over to Davenport for the baseball game, figure why bother with that. I got 5 rides on Monster yesterday, did 1 at the start of today. I'll call it good with that. I got 6 rides on Dragon Slayer before it built up a line, and actually that line is not terrible. So 10 rides for the weekend on Dragon Slayer, 6 on Monster, 7 on Outlaw, 2 on Tornado, 1 on the others. So it was a good visit, especially considering limited time. Always enjoy my time here. Even when it is super busy, I always enjoy my time here. So like when I was saying, just don't come on a Saturday unless you buy Speedy Pass. You'll probably still have a great time anyway. And I have done the water park here before, I just didn't do it on this visit.